Hello and welcome back to the Julie the Knitter podcast. This is episode 20 and it is a lovely November day. It's been a little while since we've last chatted. I believe the last time we spoke was right before Rhinebeck. So we've got quite a bit to talk about. For those of you who are new, this is a podcast mainly about knitting and whatever crafting adventures I happen to find myself getting into. And I am coming to you live from Queens, New York, where I live with my handsome husband, my two crazy kids, and my wild beast of a dog, who's laying down right over there somewhere. I'm surprised she's not trying to get into my lap at the moment. Yeah, so here we are. Welcome back to anybody who is returning, and a great hi there to anybody who's new and just finding us for the first time. I hope you like what you see, and let's dive in. So, when we last spoke, I was deep in the throes of getting Halloween costumes together and getting ready to go to Rhinebeck and starting off our first ever knit-along. And it is the Jingle All the Way knit-along, the Julia the Knitter Jingle All the Way knit-along. So it is active on Instagram. If you use the hashtag JTK Jingle All the Way, you will be able to find all the projects that any of you are working on, and it's a nice place to be able to see what's going on, get some inspiration for your Christmas knitting. With that being said, I have a finished object for you guys today, and it is my first Christmas present knitting project that is done to show you. So I knit up a pair of socks for my daughter. I usually do knit socks for all my kids and my husband for Christmas. And the last we spoke, I had this much left to go on the first sock. And now we have a finished sock. I just cast these off this morning and wove in the ends. They do need to be blocked, and I'll try to do that later on this afternoon. I figured if I did it this morning, they wouldn't be dry in time to show you. But I'll give you a closer look up at this color. It is a gorgeous self-striping yarn by the Scrumptious Pearl in their Wear the Wild Things colorway. And it is a nice BFL blend. So it's not as buttery soft as a merino yarn, but it's got a nice feel to it, and it's warm. I like working with BFL. I did my standard vanilla sock pattern, which it's just kind of, I cast on 56 stitches for myself and my daughter, and I did a 2x2 rib till it looked long enough, and then she likes a little bit of a shorter leg than I do. And I did the German short row heel that Mina Phillips includes in all her patterns. I stole it because my daughter likes the way it fits her foot. So I've got a nice little short row heel on there, and then I knit the foot. I usually try to make it a little big for my daughter because, you know, kids' feet grow. So the sock itself, the foot, I knit for a 9-inch foot. Her foot's currently a little smaller than that, so it'll give her time to grow. So they're not perfectly matched in terms of where the stripes lie, and to be honest, who cares? If you do, great, that's your thing. That's one of those things I don't make myself too crazy about. So we've got one pair of socks off the needles, ready to go for Christmas. So I have a bit more left in that ball of yarn, and I will show you. I didn't weigh it out or anything like that, but I should be able to get another pair of socks for my son, who just turned 3, out of this ball of yarn. So that's my plan. They will have matching socks for Christmas. I believe I'm going to do, I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a 2x2 rib all down the leg and up the foot. This way they have a little room to move around in there for foot growth, or whether I'm just going to keep a stockinette, or whether I'm going to do like a afterthought everything kind of sock, which, if you're not familiar, you cast on, say, the cuff of the sock, and you would just knit a long tube, and I think you'd mark off where you want your toe to end, where you'd separate them, say say here. And then you keep knitting and do the other cuff for the other tube somewhere down here. And then, you know, cut it up and add toes and heels and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I think I'll probably just do 2 regular socks. And so this way they have their matching Christmas socks. So I'm pretty happy with the way these came out. I think my daughter's going to love them. I like the colors, and I like that they'll have matching socks. I was casting them off this morning, and my son was like, "Are those for me?" And I said, "No." So that's that. The next thing that I have on the needles is the Knitter's Dude sweater by Andrea Rangel. And you guys know I've been working on this for quite some time. It's a sweater that I am knitting up for my husband, and I'm doing it in the 2X size. And I've made quite a bit of progress on here. It's not finished yet, but the end is near. It's going to be difficult to show you much of the sweater at the moment because the way it's all bunched up on the needles at the moment. But I'll do my best. So let me just kind of flip this inside, right side in a little bit. Let's see if that helps. Okay, so the last time we spoke, this was still a big knit tube full of sweatery goodness. And I was about here. I was working on the shoulder shaping. I was here. And I finished the shoulders. I'm trying not to have all my stitches fall off at the same time. Okay, let me pull my needles in a little bit more. And guys, I steeked my sweater. It was kind of exciting. I have never done a steeked sweater before. And to be honest, I was a little nervous about the fact, but you know what? I said, trust the process. People have been doing this for hundreds of years. Trust the process. So I got up to the instructions in the sweater and the instructions in the pattern rather, and the instructions just say reinforce and cut steek. So I said, oh, well, that really explained what I'm supposed to do. So fortunately, the designer, Andrea Rangel, has a great blog full of tutorials. And she had a great tutorial with video of how you reinforce and cut your steek. So I did. I took a crochet hook and first actually I marked out the center of where I wanted to make the cut. And then about, what was it, stitch and a half or half? Oh no. So I took a crochet hook and I did a single crochet all the way up using one side of that center stitch and the next stitch. And I went all the way up and I reinforced that with a crochet hook. And then I did the same thing on the other side, so doing the other half of that stitch. So say you have, this is your center stitch, and I did this one with this side of the reinforcement and this one with the other side of the reinforcement. So this way when you do cut, nothing gets all unraveled. So then I reinforced that and I wove in all the ends that I had in the center away from the center, so this way they didn't get caught up. And guess what? Most of my ends are woven in now. And I just took my scissors, took a deep breath, and I cut it up the middle. And nothing unraveled. It worked. It was beautiful. My husband gave me funny looks from the couch saying, she's cutting the sweater. But yeah, so I cut that up, and then I had to pick up stitches to do the button band and the shawl collar. And all that is keeping me from a finished object here is miles and miles of 1x1 ribbing. Now, it's 1x1 ribbing, or ribbing in general, I will say, is not my favorite thing to knit, only because I find it hard to get into a really good rhythm. It's not like stockinette or garter stitch where you just do I feel like you're always changing the direction. Go this way, and then this way, and then this way, and then this way. And love the way it looks. It's not my favorite thing to knit. But, so I knit up one side, I picked up my stitches, I knit up one side, and then you have to make your shawl collar, which is a lot of short row shaping involved. And so I'm a few rows away from being done with the short row shaping. So you'll see here, it's like I said, it's hard to show off because you see, that's all my button band and my shawl collar. Because, you know, the size of the loop. I use like a 40-inch cord on my circular needle, but you know, it's a big sweater and there's a lot bunched over there. So I picked up all my stuff, all my button bands, and now you see I'm got my short row shaping going on here, so there's a lot of double stitches. And I've got, I think, about another 5, so probably 10 rows to do on the short row shaping, and then I pick all these up, and then I start doing the button band and putting in buttonholes and adding buttons, and then I'm done. There's going to be like 400 stitches per row once I finish the short row shaping and start doing the button band and all that. So it's a little slow going. It's going to take me some time, but guys, the end is near, and I'm already dreaming up of what sweater patterns I want to cast on next. Is that crazy? I'm sitting here. There's a few patterns that I've wanted to knit for myself, and I've got stuff all lined up and ready to go. I just want to get this one off my needles, and I kind of want to get a lot of the Christmas stuff done because I can't, as much as I would like to, justifying casting something on for myself while I'm supposed to be knitting all my Christmas stuff for everybody else. I just can't bring myself to do it. So I'm trying to get through my Christmas stuff quickly, and there will be some things that I'm not going to be able to show here on the podcast until after I give them to everybody on Christmas. So I hope the knitting content doesn't get too sparse. So maybe I will cast something else on just so I could have something to show you. But we'll see. I know I'm making something for my mom, and I know that she watches this, so I can't show you what I'm making her until the end of December. So we'll see. There'll be some secret projects going on. I'll give whatever hints and clues I can, but bear with me. That's just the way it goes. So that is all. I'm out of focus. I'm sorry. That is all the knitting that I have for you guys today. But that's not all the crafting I've been up to. So Halloween just closed or passed or finished, however you want to word it. And I love Halloween. We had a great time trick-or-treating with the kids. I worked a half day and then came home and we went trick-or-treating, and my brothers came by and trick-or-treated with us. And my mom was there. We had a nice white chicken chili in the slow cooker, so we came in. It was really nice and chilly. We had something nice and warm and ready to go to eat, and it's delicious. So, my costumes. So firstly, I did make a costume for my daughter, but I'm not going to show it to you right now because it's currently in the kid's bedroom and my son is sleeping and taking a nap, and if I go in there, he will wake up, and that will be all the recording I can get done today. So I will insert a picture towards the end of the podcast of both my kids in their costumes because they're just awesome. So my daughter was an archer for Halloween, and I used the Berta Kids pattern called Robin, and it's a pattern that it contains a pattern for a cloak as well as a tunic style top, and the pattern calls for like boiled wool and faux leather and these really just expensive fabrics but also like stuff that doesn't have much give. I swapped out the fabric for like knit fabrics. I used I'd say like a dark olive green velvet for the cloak, and it came out really nice. I wound up getting these really cute like hook and eye closures for the cloak on Amazon. I hand sewed them on. It was a really big hood. I kind of made adjustments in the pattern because I didn't use the recommended fabric, or the type of fabric they recommended, so things fall differently. I didn't really hem anything or do any like facings on either of the patterns. With the tunic, I did it in just like a dark blue jersey knit. It had really nice drape, and it fit my daughter really nicely. I did not do, it has like this, if you can see, like a lace up. It's open here in the front, and it laces up. I didn't do that because I figured with the jersey fabric, it would, whatever I used to lace it up would probably be too heavier than the fabric itself, and it wouldn't look right. So I kept that closed, and I kept it as a cap sleeve, and I did not finish any of the edges, giving it a little bit more of a rougher look because, you know, she's not a highway criminal, but, you know, she lives a life of fighting baddies. She's a rogue. Who cares what your hems look like? So it actually worked out really well. She wore a belt with it, and it was great. She looked so freaking adorable, and she loved it, and that's the most important part. My son wanted to be Catboy for Halloween. So, you know, if you are aware of PJ Masks, it is a cartoon that kids watch, and they're kids who fight in the night to save the day. Is that the catchphrase? I don't remember. I can't remember. I'm tired today. I'm sorry. But he wanted to be Catboy. One of the kids at night becomes Catboy, and they fight all these bad guys and save the day. So I used this pattern, the Jali, J-A-L-I-E pattern, for a skin suit. 3135 is the pattern number. So it's a skin suit pattern. It's actually kind of cool because it comes in all kinds, it's blurry, I'm sorry, all kinds of sizes, from like to fit a 2-year-old to fit a grown-up. And I did the long leg, long sleeve, or half part of it inside out, hooded version. I actually followed a tutorial I saw on Pinterest. Vaguely. How did I do it? I use that for the idea. I'm trying to zipper the zipper, and it kind of got flipped inside out. My zippers are not my strong suit. But it came out really nicely. Hold on. You know, the part that you used, the part you grabbed for a zipper just fell into like the seam, and I couldn't get it. So here we go. I'm just trying to zip it up now so I can give you a good view. Okay, so here's the costume. I used this dark blue double knit fabric, and I actually thought it would have a little bit more give to it than it does. Knowing that the pattern is designed to be used with pretty stretchy fabric, I cut a size 5, which is about 2 sizes bigger than my son actually normally wears. But it wound up fitting really well in the chest. The arms and the legs were really long, so I trimmed them down. I probably cut off about 2 inches of each arm and leg. I added a tail, stuffed it with scrap fabric. I made the hood. I added some ears. I used a lighter double knit fabric, and I just kind of did a quick slip stitch to add on like these lightning streaks and the mask. Most of the, well, if you can call it a mask, the face that goes on the chest. The tutorial I used actually didn't cut it down the center and had it like flap over and like snap in to the front, but I said, you know, that's going to be too complicated for what I'm doing. I just kind of wanted something fairly quick, so I cut it in half, eliminating the center stripe there. There's supposed to be 3 of these things, but I didn't. So there's that. I kind of redrew all these lightning stripes. One of them is kind of coming off right now because it got caught in something in the midst of trick-or-treating frivolity. And my son is very upset. I have to repair it. But otherwise, you know, it came out really well. My son was over the moon with it. We could, actually, he was so excited about it. He tried it on, he loved it. We couldn't get it off him, but I had to finish sewing all the stuff that goes onto it. And come Halloween morning, he didn't want to put it on. I'm like, oh, don't you want to put your costume on? No, it's later. We'll put it on later. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I didn't make a big deal out of it. I'm just sitting there. I go to work. Man, I hope he freaking puts on that costume because I put so much work into it. If he's not going to wear it, what was the point? Which I know is the wrong attitude to have, but I'm human. What can I say? So we got home, or I came home because I worked a half day, and he was still kind of like, oh no, he was sleeping. He was taking a nap, and when he woke up, I don't know, he had to change something. Change his pants, change his underwear, I don't know what it was. But I'm like, oh, you know, how about at the same time we do this, we change into a costume. He's like, oh, okay. So we put it on, and do you know who I am? I'm Catboy. And he was just all about it. And we were walking the dog, and he was like, oh, I got super cat speed. And he was running, and he was just embracing the costume. He was in love. I had to go pick up my daughter later on, so my husband and my brothers and my mom took him out trick-or-treating with the neighborhood. They do kind of like, they get all the kids in the neighborhood together and they go trick-or-treat together, which is kind of nice, but at the same time, like, if you're working, we all meet at 4:30. If you're working or you can't be there, there's not really much other trick-or-treating going on. So, but you know, we wound up doing, because my daughter usually misses it. So we went and I picked her up, and by the time we get back, they finished that. And we went out to a different part of the neighborhood that's not really part of the co-op group that we live in. So we thought that maybe we'd have a little bit better luck, and we did, which was nice. So they went trick-or-treating, and my son was just one of the kids. He was running with them, and he was trick-or-treating, and he was all about running up to the doors, trick-or-treat, and he was singing trick-or-treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat, and he is really, really adorable singing it, because he doesn't have all the words down, and it just, I loved it. So that's that. That's the costume. Like I said, I'll put in a picture of the two of them wearing their costumes towards the end of the episode, and you can kind of get a good look at how freaking adorable they are. What else? I think that's actually all the projects that I have on the needles. I did not cast anything else on. I will be casting on the pair of socks for my son. I plan to be casting on a few other Christmas things. I'm going to be doing a little bit of stash diving for that, so I'm excited. And that's that. That's all the projects I have working in the works at the moment. So let's talk Rhinebeck. It was so good to be at Rhinebeck. It wound up being a beautiful day. It was a little cool out, which was great, so this way everybody could wear their Rhinebeck sweaters. I actually ran into quite a few people, and it was so nice to see you all. So hey, thanks for saying hi. And I finally met Jacqueline Salem from the Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast in person, as well as Julie from Sweet Sparrow Knits, who I was so excited to give a huge hug, and it was great to meet them. So hi guys. I did not do much yarn damage, to be honest, which was strange. I was walking around, and there's quite a few nice things, but you know, when you're trying to corral the two kids at the same time, and it was really crowded in a lot of like the barns where the vendors were, I like to do like a quick look first, and then, you know, go back, and if it's still there, it's meant to be, you know what I mean? But there wasn't really, a lot of stuff was blended with mohair. A lot of the stuff that I was drawn to, and I don't love mohair. I think I'm actually a little bit allergic to it because it tends to make me itchy if I wear something that's got that in the blend. It's just, I like the way it looks, and I love that so many people like that. It's kind of, a lot of people right now are using like a thread of mohair and holding it together with whatever they're knitting, and I like the halo that it gives, and it looks so nice. I can't wear it. So to me, I wasn't feeling it. So I did stop at one little booth, and I made one purchase. It was the whole Rhinebeck. I couldn't believe it. I bought some buttons from Melissa Jean, who does handmade ceramic buttons. This is her card. She is from Marcellus, New York. She had these really cute buttons. There's all different kinds. And I told my daughter that she could pick out a set of buttons for her, and I would put them on a sweater for her the next time I made a sweater. So she picked out these bigger ones. I'll show you. They're probably about, I don't know, 1.5 inches in diameter. Let's see. This dark blue, and they've got a swirl. And she picked out this light blue one. And they're all a little different. I think she picked, are they the same color? These are slightly different blue. And then I can't hold them all in one hand. Green one with like these floral accents. And a darker teal with the swirl. So they were really nice. I really liked them. And then for myself, I picked out these 5 buttons, and they've got like a waffle pattern, I guess, and they're green. Trying to get it to focus a little bit. This one. Okay, it actually shows the color a little bit better. But they're this green little waffle knit. I'm going to say waffle knit. Like a waffle crisscross pattern. And they're cute. They're smaller than the other ones. They're maybe about 1 inch in diameter. But I'm really excited for those. So next time I do a cardigan, I'm going to throw those on there. And then she also has cute little progress keepers, or stitch markers, I should say. And so I got this little stitch marker that's also the same crisscross pattern, but it's a teal color. That's it. That's all I bought at Rhinebeck. I felt that there was a lot of stuff that I probably could have gotten at home. So that's why I also didn't make myself all too crazy. I'm like, oh my god, I have to have this. But there was a lot of stuff. I was excited to see the Oysters and Pearls booth with, she was over by Bad and Kill Fibers, which I love Bad and Kill Fibers. And I love Oysters and Pearls yarns. She's actually a dyer that's pretty local to me. She's in Astoria, Queens, and she does a lot of natural dyeing. And the colors that she comes out with are gorgeous. And the yarns that she uses are locally sourced, and they're non-superwash. They're nice and rustic feeling, and they're just beautiful. So it was nice to see. I actually met her in person, and it was nice to meet her, and her kids are adorable. And we just enjoyed the beautiful weather. We had a little bit of a meltdown because the line for the apple cider donuts was so long, and I think we waited for about 45 minutes and not moving until we decided to call it quits, and my son was not happy about it. Otherwise, it was great. We just enjoyed the day, enjoyed the knitters, walked around, saw the animals. My kids love petting all the different animals and seeing the kangaroos. And then we left. We left maybe around 3, right before it started. The skies opened up and poured. We got to the car just in time. And otherwise, we were upstate. We went back to my parents' house. We were up there for the weekend. And they're about an hour north of where the Dutchess County Fairgrounds are. And my grandmother and her first cousin and his family were up the same weekend. So it was actually a nice full house, and we got to spend a lot of time with them, and it was good. And what else did we do? We stopped at a little farm stand by my parents on the way home and got some pumpkins and some mums and some apple cider and all kinds of good stuff. But guys, I don't know if it's the same in your neighborhood, but what's up with the squirrels this year? We put our pumpkins out and they devoured them. We had to go out and buy replacement pumpkins so that we can carve them for Halloween. I've never had to do that before. I mean, we've been living here in this spot for 4 years, 5 years. And we sometimes, you see a little nibble taken out of your pumpkin or what have you. It's not like we buy them the day before Halloween. We usually have them out in the stoop for a few days, and then we carve them like the day before, pretty close to Halloween, because they don't last long once you carve them up. They devoured these pumpkins. There was completely open, half the pumpkin was gone, and they were not small pumpkins, and I just couldn't believe it. They even ate, once we carved the pumpkins right before Halloween and put them out, they just devoured them again. So we must have the fattest squirrels running around our neighborhood at the moment. I couldn't believe it. But other than that, that's really all that's going on in the crafting world of Julia. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope that you guys all are crafting away and loving what you're working on. Remember, if you are participating in the Julie the Knitter Jingle All the Way Christmas gift make along, to tag your projects on Instagram, because I would really love to see what you're working on. And I will talk to you all soon. So, bye! See you later!